Welcome back to our application testing journey. In the previous video, we've created an object repository with screens and elements from the apply for a loan process with UI Bank. It's time to see how we can leverage an object repository to simplify the creation of test cases. The test case we will create will verify the outcome of an automation that inputs the required data to apply for a loan on this screen of the user interface. The verifications will be done using the info shown on this screen. Let's start by creating a test automation project in Studio Pro. Give it a name and save. Now, instead of opening UI Bank and identifying each element, we'll use the object repository we've created in the previous demo. Since this works only with the modern design experience, let's enable it from our project settings. Now we can install the object repository from the package manager. You may recall that we saved it locally, so that's where we'll find it. Click Install, then Save. That's it, we're ready to automate. Notice the library listed in the project dependencies and the hierarchy of screens and elements here in the object repository panel. We'll start with the UI automation, then we'll incorporate it in the test case. Let's create a new sequence. The process is now very simple. We can drag and drop screens and UI elements from the repository in our designer panel, just like that. This will show in the command palette a preselection of the activities which can be used with the screen or element. In this case, it's a use application or browser. This is why it's so important to give meaningful names and select the types of the UI elements when they are captured and included in the library. Next, we have the Apply for a Loan button, which needs to be placed inside the Do block of the use application or browser. We'll select the click activity. Moving on to the second screen, we'll first drag the screen itself. Select the use application activity, then proceed with each field on the screen. We'll add a type into for each of them, and input a static value corresponding to the field, like the email, the loan amount, and so on. We can do the other way around. First, click the plus sign on the designer panel to add the activity, and only then add the element from the repository inside it, like this. Or we can add the activity from the Activities panel. The last action on this screen is to submit the application. We'll drag and drop the Submit button and select a click activity. Now to the third and last screen. It's a bit different here, as we need to capture the information in the elements. So, we'll use two getText activities and create two variables, one for the status, the other one for the loan ID. We're almost there with this part, but let's change the scope of the variables to the entire sequence. And let's also convert them to arguments, with the direction set to out. We're doing this because we'll need all this info in the test case. Okay, let's now save, close the browser, and give it a run. It looks alright. Now for the second part of this video, let's build the test case using this sequence. We'll right-click it and select Create Test Case. The given when then structure is created. Our sequence is in the when block. There's nothing to add for this in the given block, as there's no initialization needed or test data to be gathered. All we have to do is add the verification activities in the then block. There are three activities in the testing package: Verify Expression with Operator, and Verify Control Attribute. We'll look at each of them, but first let's import the arguments of the invoked workflow. Their values will be passed to two variables we're creating right now. Alright, back to the verification activities. The first one of them, Verify Expression, is used to check an expression, like 1 is equal to 1. Verify Expression with Operator allows us to compare two terms using operators. We can input expressions or variables for each of the two. We'll use one of the variables we've created. To do that, we need to make their scope global from the Variables panel. Once we do that, we can add it here on the left. Select the Contains operator and input the string approved on the right. So, this activity will check whether the status of the loan application contains the word approved. Another way of checking the status is with Verify Control attribute. This allows us to check the outcome of an activity against an expression or variable. The same operators as before are available. So, for example, we can drag and drop the UI element corresponding to the loan status in the activity, select getText, and save the output in a new variable. To make this work, we need to place it inside a use application or browser scope activity. Let's add one for the screen, then move the entire Verify Control attribute activity inside it. We can now verify the output of the getText activity against the approved text using the regex match operator. Okay, it's time to run our test case. We'll close all the browsers and click Run. Our run was successful. In the output panel, we can see the result for all 3 verification activities. All of them have passed. We've reached the end of our demo, in which we used the screens and elements in the object repository, together with their descriptors, to create a test case in a faster way than by working with the user interface. And as you'll see in the next videos, the object repository feature enables us to keep the test cases and just update the descriptors in the libraries when changes in the UI happen. See you soon.